it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught. John Moran in the clutch. Oh, my word. Oh, my God. Deep to right field. Way up there. And way down the sideline. Jefferson. Another huge run. Jalen Red broke tackle. Stayed on his feet.
What's poppin', everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Blake's Take. And boy, did the NBA trade deadline end with a giant Woj bomb. After many back and forth discussions with several different teams, the 76ers were finally able to deal Ben Simmons in a giant trade package for James Harden. The 76ers went all in, paying a hefty price to get Harden, trading away Simmons along with Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round draft picks in return for Harden along with Paul Millsap. I guess second time's the charm for Daniel Morey, who, let's not forget, attempted to acquire Harden from their former employer, the Houston Rockets. He failed then, but finally managed to land his man the second time around. While at the time, Harden preferred to be sent to Brooklyn to form what would have been the most lethal offensive force the NBA has ever seen, but instead turned out to be a failed super team project. The 3 stars, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Harden himself, only played a total of a whopping 16 games together, thanks to the several injuries amongst the 3 over the past 2 seasons, along with Irving specifically this season being a part-time player due to his vaccination status. This has left Harden having to will the Nets to victory similar to how he had to do it in Houston. This made him become really frustrated and made it apparent that at the trade deadline, he wanted to be out of Brooklyn. Simmons, on the other hand, had yet to take an NBA court this season after being criticized for his performance this past postseason, where he wanted out of Philly so bad because of how underwhelmingly he performed and how much criticism he is facing from the fans. The 76ers front office, though, held firm on their stance of wanting a top 30, 40 player acquisition for Simmons, and so now, after all this time, they were finally able to get a worthy deal. Really, both teams got what they needed in this deal. Simmons will drastically improve the Nets' struggling defense, and unlike Philadelphia, Simmons will not have to be forced into being a player he is not meant to be. Simmons will be surrounded by a large arsenal of shooters in Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry, and Joe Harris when they're all hopefully healthy. Simmons' playmaking abilities will help to maximize those shooters as well as help the Nets come up with some critical defensive stops. Philadelphia is also a winner here, though, as they get an on-the-ball player that can help fill the void that Simmons has placed on the team in the lack of a high-usage guard and one that has on-the-ball scoring abilities. We all remember the main reason the 76ers were eliminated by the Hawks last season in the playoffs was due in large part to an inability to score late in the games. Simmons, most notably, passed up on a wide-open dunk at the end of Game 7 of that series, which ultimately played a large part in costing Philadelphia the game. It will definitely take some adjusting for Harden and Embiid to get used to each other and balance each other's playing style, but once they do so, they are going to be dangerous. It was a long, enduring road, but the 76ers emerged from the other side as legitimate championship contenders. The Nets, while on a recent 10-game skid, become much more diversified and not just reliant solely on their 3 All-NBA scorers. So while both teams walked away with what they wanted, if I were to have to pick a winner in this trade, I believe it would be Brooklyn, as they further the depth of their roster drastically and also have room to continue to grow with the 2 first-round draft picks. We'll see if this trade can elevate Brooklyn back atop the Eastern Conference and regain their spot as the title favorite. It's just unfortunate to think about what could have been with all these 3 stars if they could have stayed healthy and been able to develop more and more chemistry with one another over the course of games. But the past is in the past now, and we must focus on now the future and what these new roster additions can do to elevate their respective teams into championship contention. Hope you all enjoyed that. I'm excited to see where this takes the Philadelphia 76ers as well as the Brooklyn Nets and how they will be able to compete. They'll be meeting in early March, so that'll be an interesting game with Simmons on the new squad. How will Simmons play? We haven't seen him play in months. Who knows if he's in shape? Who knows what he can do? We'll see how he continues to elevate his game and see if he is still an all-star caliber player. And we'll see how Harden fits into the scheme of Philadelphia and whether that all-in move can pay off for Philadelphia with a championship championship possibly. But then there's the teams out west as well. So the East is getting better and better, and the West definitely has two championship contenders in the Suns and the Warriors. So it's going to be an incredible ride through the second half of the NBA season, and I'll be here for it all on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or YouTube. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day.